Yeah? Moses said he gave me 9 song dub plate. I like the thought of it, but you would have to execute it. And if you had said it to me, maybe both of us was drunk. You understand? I remember we drinking rum and Red Bull. But, or probably you think that you did it. It's not that I need it now, but I love the gesture. But you never did no 9 dub plate. I can't get one. Not even the sound here saying I can't get it. I cannot get, I've never gotten a rum and Red Bull dub for you. 9 songs. You don't give me 9 songs, you know me boss, you show up. Somebody that never do that. I'm gonna buy one carry next day. 9 Beenie Man song. I said, Ding Dong gave me 8 songs, but you had 1 on it. So man, I Ding Dong with the song there. Ding Dong did 9 songs for me. Or 8, somewhere around there. But Beenie Man do 9 dub for me. Any sound man can send them the 9 dub there. Are named by the name of the song. But me never get 9 dub from him. But lucky if me get a half a song. Half a song. Half a song. But lucky if me 4 artists in big dub. Yeah, one of them. Me get 1 and 2 man. You do 4 film 1 time for Mega Mouse. Long time. Long time with that time they were super bridging. There you have a G. Them time, but 9 dub? No sir. We had love the thought. And maybe in the future we might need them, but not now. Not now. Super hard. Super hard. Me talking about you makes you hot too. You should thank me that you are hot, you're relevant because Fambo is hot. I'll make you hot. The song that you sing is my song. Obviously, dog, I make you hot. You see what you're still getting shows. You're still getting shows. And then you have the cutter there for your head. You have the cutter there and give them the good looking handsome Beenie Man. Here come the girl, them she got something there. You run about her. The cutter on your head, there's something there. Where in the middle gone. It mash up. You have to tie kerchief on big American TV. Kerchief, what is a bandana around a superstar? I've never seen a king wear a bandana around his crown on national TV. You can be a good person. You were a good person until you change. The fortune and the fame changed you. You forgot who put you up there, who helped you. Gringo, Rascal, Future Fambo. All the people who made you. You have the talent, nobody has talented like you, but you've forgotten people who help you along the way. Not that you don't come down, but if you come down, you will see me and Gringo, and you will see Silver Cat, and you will see Peter Metro, and you will see Patrick Roberts and all these people. So stay on top, kid. I wish you all the best. As you say, God go with you, can't come.
But that's why the people that can do something for me. Anyone is a future Fambo, give my out to me. Please. Yeah, no, seriously. Anyone is a future Fambo, give my out to me. No, please. Because when my future Fambo are referring now. Remember when they do Anton the banner shine and believe, and then Anthony B come and counter what the song, you know. And me right. Anton the banner and me right to him and give it to him. See, you see the Fambo do to me. Nobody only knows something like a talk this now in a summer dog. Fambo come at my house, when my little daughter they in my house. And take out him little bag and push him little white powder upon him finger and sniff it in front of my daughter. And then swallow 2 pills and drink a bottle of champagne. So I look at him and tell him, say, you mash up my friendship because you can't do that in front of the kids. And this is the reason why I violate Beenie people. Rum and Red Bull, when Rum and Red Bull right, I go ask him where my right say, and him say Saturday with the flash cranberry with the ice in a glass. When say GPS can't find me last, I'm say satellite because satellite flow better. See? And him say which part me forgot. See? I'm gonna go so boom and go to the next verse then. That's why that's the only verse me ever DJ upon the song. See? And true me look on him and tell him say mash up my friendship because him do the quote in front of my daughter.
Which is right.
You mash up my friendship. You understand what I say? This is the reason why the man there by me. Yo, I do not like it. And I do not like what he's doing to himself. Right now, there's nothing to me. Me a bad man when I answer idiot. See? I just want to know people, anyone who see him, give him a hug for me. Help him. Please, you know. I just want to know, please. Just see him and I say nothing to him and just hug him. And say, Fambo, respect and manners. Hold him. I just got me a tell him. See? Come on, want him to get help. I'm going to need nobody to like him. That's why I love the cartel song. See that song? Everybody needs to listen to that song. I'm going to talk to this. I'm going to talk fuckery. That's why everybody to know it. That song, I love you. Far from God. I just want to know. Because you see, when a man lose himself, he lose himself. When family mother foot cut off, I make here a wheelchair. When family mother dead, I make him 9 special for burying mother.
I'm the character 2 part there. Mr. Anthony Dean Davis once was my best friend, my Don, my boss, but that's no more. 2 things I say wrong. You see me come to your house, it's an apartment deal. I say in front of your little daughter, the girl like 8 months year old, she never know. She don't know how. She 8 months. And I stress me this stress out. And you this stress out to me one day if you want some. You may never know if you give. But you know you don't do drugs. I know I don't hide nothing from you. Because I'm best friend. So when I go guys, I hide and liquor. But I do drugs no more. You understand? I can't believe, say, the king, I call my name. I never know it I call my name. I never know it I call my name. Glad to meet you, sir. Glad to meet you, sir. Glad to meet you, sir. 1993, almost 1994. 1993. We had some great times. But I'm going to call you up on 2 stage too. Now that I have all 8 songs, I'm going to call you on 2 stage shows too. I'm not corrupt like you. I'm going to call you up on 2 shows. Summer Jam in New York. My show at Bartley's, not Nick Cannon show that you went. My show. And you're going to come and you sing that little part. And I give you $10,000. You go in your car, go to your hotel, I'll pay for your plane ticket. All the nice perps. Red wine, kush. And you can carry your kids too. I'll buy a ticket for them, all of them. Yeah. Only good salvation last favor deal. Nothing else. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. But that's what friends are for. Listen, that sound they good. We made a good team. We had chemistry. But now we have catastrophe.
Chairman went on to point out that, and the president, that Jamaica has the best quality water in the region. So you see, I was right. Why you all look so good is because it is in the water. And he reinforced the point about the quality of our water by pointing out that one of the reasons we have so many cruise ships coming to Jamaica, it is not just to visit. It is not just to disembark and go and see our lovely attractions. The cruise ships would place Jamaica on their itineraries because they come to recharge their water supplies. They buy water from Jamaica. And that is an incredible sign of the confidence that they place in our potable drinking water. So there is actually potential in an industry to supply, to sell water, not just locally to our customers, but to the shipping industry and other such operations. So in effect, our water, because of its high standard, our water is a national asset for Jamaicans.
Dancehall artist so big that Jay-Z jumped on his remix. Drake put him in a music video, and Nicki Minaj shared a stage with him. A man who turned the poverty and violence of one of Kingston's roughest ghettos into chart-topping music, heard around the world. A man who stood toe-to-toe with Vybz Kartel in a war so dangerous that the Prime Minister of Jamaica personally stepped in to stop it. But here is what most people don't know. Behind the fame, behind the hits, behind the gully god persona, there was a trail of bullets, blood, and courtroom drama that would shake everything this man had built. And the worst of it didn't happen to him. It happened to his own son, inside the very same community he grew up in. Today, we are telling the full story of Movado, born David Constantine Brooks, the dancehall icon whose life has always walked the thinnest line between music and madness. Stay with us, because this story goes places you never expected. David Constantine Brooks was born on November 30th, 1981 at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston, Jamaica. He grew up in a place called Cassava Peace in the uptown parish of St. Andrew. Now don't let the word uptown fool you. Cassava Peace, specifically the section known as Cuba, was rough. It was the kind of place where survival was not guaranteed, where the grandmother often had to play the role of mother, and where the streets were ready to swallow young men whole before they even had a chance to breathe. That was the environment that shaped David Brooks. His grandmother, a church-going woman, was one of the biggest influences in his early life. She was the one who first put a microphone in his hand at age 4 during a church function. And from that moment, music became the boy's salvation. He attended Charlie Smith High School in Arnett Gardens, and classmates from those days will tell you that the moment a teacher left the classroom, David Brooks was already on his feet, beating the desk like a drum, and DJing the lyrics of Cutty Ranks and Bounty Killer word for word. The music was always in him. He just needed someone to open the door. That door opened through a close friend named Flex, who used to ride his bicycle from Grant's Pen every morning just to pick up young David and take him to Junior Reed's recording studio in Kingston. At that studio, fate did what it always does. It put the right people in the same room. There was Bounty Killer, already one of the biggest names in Jamaican dancehall, and he heard something in this young man from Cassava Peace that he could not ignore. Bounty Killer took him under his wing, introduced him to vocalist Predator, and connected him to his manager, Julian Jones Griffith. It was Jones Griffith who helped David Brooks craft his image and gave him a new name. David named himself after the luxury Swiss watch brand Movado, a name that carried prestige and precision, and his manager simply changed the spelling to Movado. Just like that,
Automate your most repetitive work with Google Workspace Studio. Easily create workflows to handle everyday tasks. No coding required.
Prestige and precision, and his manager simply changed the spelling to Movado. Just like that, a star was being born. By 2004, Movado dropped his debut single Real McCoy, recorded on Daseka's anger management rhythm, and the reaction was immediate. People in the dancehall scene were asking, "Who is this?" The voice was raw, the delivery was aggressive but melodic, and the lyrics spoke directly to the streets. He followed it up with Way Dem Do on the Red Bull and Guinness Rhythm in 2006, and then Dreaming and Ball Dem a Ball, hit after hit. In a very short time, Movado had carved out a lane that nobody else was occupying. He called himself the Gully God, the Real McCoy, and every one of those names meant something on the streets. He wasn't just making music, he was representing an identity, the Gully side, which would soon be at the center of one of the most explosive rivalries in the history of dancehall. But before that rivalry could fully ignite, tragedy struck. Right around the time his career was rising, Movado's father, a Rastafarian man to whom he was deeply close, was murdered overseas in Switzerland. The details of exactly what happened remain scarce, but the pain was very real. What made it worse was that Movado had to fight with Swiss authorities just to get his father's body returned to Jamaica for burial. He had to battle bureaucracy while grieving thousands of miles from home, trying to give his father a proper send-off. Those who were around him during that period say it broke something in him, but it also hardened him. He eventually got his father's body back, laid him to rest in Jamaica, and then threw himself back into the music. That pain went directly into his sound. It explained why songs like Dying hit so hard. The man was singing from a very real place. Now, the year 2006 was when the powder keg was lit. Vybz Kartel, who had been a member of Bounty Killers Alliance alongside Movado, made the decision to leave the alliance and strike out on his own. What followed was a falling out that went well beyond professional rivalry. Kartel and Movado began trading diss tracks. Kartel dropped War Teacher and Alliance Diss, while Movado fired back with Warn Dem, Last Night, and Informer. The lyrics were sharp, personal, and vicious. But what started as a lyrical clash quickly became something much more dangerous. On the streets of Kingston, fans began picking sides. The Gaza camp behind Kartel, the Gully side behind Movado, and those divisions didn't just live in people's hearts. They lived in the streets, in school hallways, and in communities across the island. Police sources at the time confirmed that the feud was directly connected to violence that broke out along sections of Mannings Hill Road in Kingston, between the Big Yard and Cassava Peace communities. Multiple shootings and injuries were reported. The war between Gaza and Gully had found its way off the record and into real life. The situation got so serious that in 2007, police forced both men to sit down together at a press conference. Movado and Vybz Kartel stood side by side and publicly declared that the beef was over, apologizing to fans for the tension they had caused. But as anyone from Jamaica will tell you, when something is that deep, a press conference does not end it. By the summer of 2008, the diss track started again. The Sting concert of December 2008 brought them face to face in one of the most anticipated lyrical clashes in dancehall history, and people argued for years over who actually won. The feud dragged through 2009, dominating Jamaican media, spreading into schools, and prompting intervention at the highest levels of government. On December 8, 2009, both artists were brought before then Prime Minister Bruce Golding himself at a meeting aimed at ending the war for good. The night before, they had actually performed together on stage at the West Kingston Jamboree, a concert notably promoted by the infamous drug lord Christopher Dudas Coke. That detail alone tells you everything you need to know about how deep this world was. Even while all of this was unfolding publicly, Movado's own personal run-ins with the law were piling up. In July 2007, right around the time his debut album, Gangsta for Life, The Symphony of David Brooks, was being celebrated, police detained him in connection with a shooting incident that allegedly occurred on July 27th of that year. What happened next became one of the most talked about stories in dancehall. Movado claimed that while he was in police custody, officers threw him through a glass window, causing him to slice 3 fingers severely. Those fingers had to be surgically reattached at a local hospital. The police, for their part, claim Movado actually escaped from custody while being treated at the hospital. The truth of exactly what happened in that station on that day is still debated. What is confirmed is that he was later formally arrested and charged with shooting with intent and illegal possession of a firearm. He was released 2 days after his arrest on a $3,000 bail. Shortly after, he was refused entry into the United States, a move that threatened to derail his growing international profile. Eventually, all the gun charges against him were dropped, and Movado was cleared. But the episode had already added another layer to his outlaw reputation. By 2008, his career was going international in a way that Jamaican dancehall artists rarely achieve. His song, I'm on the Rock, got a remix featuring Jay-Z. He was featured on 50 Cent and G-Unit's album TOS, Terminate on Sight. The only non-G-Unit artist on the entire album. He won the UK MOBO Award for Best Reggae Act that same year. In April 2010, Drake personally cast him as a gangster in the music video for Find Your Love, which was featured on Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. On September 1st, 2011, Movado appeared on Hot 97 Radio in New York to announce he had signed with DJ Khaled's We The Best Music Group, then a Cash Money and Republic Records imprint. He was crossing over from dancehall into the mainstream in a way that almost nobody had managed before. But even at the peak of all of this, the streets never fully let him go. In May 2012, he was convicted in Jamaica for assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and malicious destruction of property, following a driving incident. He was fined a total of 100,000 Jamaican dollars. An appeal against the sentence was not successful. In 2011, police had also charged him in St. Anne for malicious destruction of property following a fracas outside a nightclub in Runaway Bay on May 22nd of that year, where he was arrested and offered $50,000 in station bail. That case eventually went away after the complainant told the court she no longer had any interest in the matter. Between the music and the legal drama, Movado's life was operating on 2 completely different tracks. One pointed toward global stardom, and one pointed straight back to the gully he came from. Then came 2018, and this is where the story takes its most devastating and personal turn. On Saturday, June 2nd, 2018, at approximately 11:30 in the morning, Movado returned to Cassava Peace, the community he grew up in, the place he called home, to settle a dispute. His teenage son had gotten into a conflict with a man who was well known in the area, a Don. Movado went there himself to sort it out. What happened next is something that people in Cassava Peace still talk about. Movado and the man got into a heated argument. Fists were thrown. Movado allegedly punched the man. The man walked away from the scene, but he didn't stay gone for long. He came back with a group of armed men, and they opened fire. A rain of bullets flew through the air in broad daylight. Movado, the gully god himself, ran for his life on foot through his own community. According to one report, he was grazed by a bullet during the escape. He made it to the nearby Constant Spring police station and filed a report. His car, which he had driven to the community, was riddled with bullet holes and left behind. One man named Anthony Goulburn was subsequently arrested and charged in connection with the shooting at the Entertainer. What came next was the part nobody wanted. Just 3 days after that shooting, on Tuesday, June 5th, 2018, at 3:30 in the morning, a group of armed men kicked in the door of a house in Cassava Peace, occupied by a 23-year-old man named Lorenzo Thomas, also known as Israel and True Lups. Thomas was reportedly a member of a rival gang, and according to police sources, was allegedly connected to the group that had shot at Movado days earlier. The men who broke in shot Thomas, then chopped him, and as if that was not enough, they attempted to sever his head. Witness accounts allege that when the machete proved too dull to complete the act, the attackers doused both Thomas and the house in gasoline and set everything on fire. Thomas's father, who was inside the house at the time, was forced into another room and left alive. The murder shocked even a community that was no stranger to violence. Movado, who had already left Jamaica and flown back to the United States hours before Thomas was killed, was immediately named a person of interest by the St. Andrew North Police. His son, then 16 years old, along with his brother and other relatives, were taken into custody following a raid on Movado's Norbrook residence in Upper St. Andrew. His son and a 23-year-old man named Andre Hines were both formally charged with murder, conspiracy to murder, arson, shooting with intent, and illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. A witness statement given to police at the time allegedly quoted Movado's son giving an order to Hines during the attack. "Member the boss, want him head." Hines allegedly attempted to carry out that order. These were allegations the younger Brooks completely denied when he appeared in court on June 27, 2018. The police publicly asked Movado to return to Jamaica for questioning. He never did. Instead, he remained in the United States, where he had been living and building his career. Jamaican authorities were later informed that he was overseas, and legal experts began discussing the possibility of extradition under the treaty between Jamaica and the United States. Meanwhile, on June 9, 2018, a warrant was issued for Movado's own arrest, not for the murder, but for assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, based on a complaint filed by Anthony Goulburn, the very same man who had been charged for shooting at Movado. In the twisted logic of the streets, the shooter was now the complainant in an assault case against the man he allegedly tried to kill. Movado and his legal team called the warrant fake and accused the police of corruption. Nevertheless, the warrant sat on the books, and it kept Movado out of Jamaica for years. His son's trial moved through the courts. In January 2021, Dante Brooks, now 18 years old, was found guilty of the murder of Lorenzo Thomas in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, with the stipulation that he served 22 years before becoming eligible for parole. He was also sentenced to 15 years for arson and 20 years for illegal possession of a firearm, all running concurrently. His co-accused, Andre Hines, was also convicted and sentenced to life with 17 years before parole. Movado, watching from overseas, was devastated. He publicly called it a grave miscarriage of justice and vowed to fight. He wrote a tribute to his son called Not Perfect, pouring his grief into the music the way he always had. For nearly 4 years, Dante Brooks sat in prison, but the legal fight continued. His attorneys brought the case before the Court of Appeal, arguing that the trial judge had made critical errors in how he handled the identification evidence. The prosecution's case had rested almost entirely on the eyewitness testimony of Lorenzo Thomas's own father, who identified the accused from the community. The defense argued that the trial judge failed to properly warn himself of the dangers of relying on such testimony alone, and that the credibility of the sole eyewitness was seriously compromised. The Court of Appeal, presided over by Justices Marva McDonald Bishop, David Fraser, and Kisak Laing, heard the appeal on December 10th and 11th, 2024, and reserved judgment. On Friday morning, March 7, 2025, they handed down their decision. The murder convictions of both Dante Brooks and Andre Hines were overturned. The judges wrote that the failure of the trial judge to adequately warn himself of the dangers in the identification evidence, combined with credibility issues surrounding the sole eyewitness, had resulted in a substantial miscarriage of justice. The prosecution acknowledged the errors and chose not to seek a retrial. Both men walked free that same day. Movado, in the United States, erupted with relief and rage at the same time. He took to Instagram to declare that a fire was raging within him at the injustice of what had been done to his son, and vowed to pursue legal action against everyone he believed was responsible. That same month, March 2025, Movado received another painful blow when his older brother Clinton, known in the community as Bang, passed away. Movado shared the news on social media with photographs showing his brother's dramatic decline in weight and health, captioning the post with "Ya no big brother, I still can't believe." Even his former mentor, Bounty Killer, reached out in the comments to offer condolences. Grief stacked on top of grief. But the legal complications were not done with the Brooks family. In October 2025, just months after Dante's conviction was overturned, and just 1 week after Movado himself had returned to Jamaica, a return that had itself become major news, Dante Brooks was arrested again. This time, the charges stem from an incident on July 12, 2025, at approximately 9:30 in the evening in the Cassava Peace community, near an area locals call Pond de Gaza. Police charged him with assault at common law, unlawful wounding, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a scheduled offense. The incident reportedly involved the beating of a man referred to only as Hardy. A gun was involved. 2 other men were arrested alongside him. As of this writing, the matter is before the courts. As for Movado himself, after years of being unable to return to Jamaica due to the outstanding 2018 arrest warrant, he finally came home in October 2025. He arrived in Kingston on a Tuesday night, almost a decade after he had last been on Jamaican soil. The following morning, Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, he met with the St. Andrew North Police at the S Hotel in Kingston, accompanied by his attorney, to address the outstanding warrant. Superintendent Randy Sweeney confirmed that after reviewing the information at hand and the circumstances surrounding the matter, the complaint was resolved and the warrant was officially dropped. Movado was a free man on his own island again. Government officials were present to welcome him home, including Member of Parliament Delano Syverite and Senator Abka Fitzhenley. He reunited with his son Dante in person for the first time in years. His attorney, Hugh Wildman, told the press that Movado was extremely glad. Movado himself went to a coconut jelly vendor in Kingston, something he clearly hadn't been able to do for years, before heading to a meeting at the hotel. He also announced a major concert scheduled for December 27, 2025 at Plantation Cove in St. Anne. For the first time in a long time, it looked like the Gully God might actually get some peace. The life of Movado, born David Constantine Brooks in the heart of Cassava Peace, Kingston, is a story that does not fit neatly into any single box. He is a certified international superstar who collaborated with some of the biggest names in hip-hop and pop. He is also a man whose life has always been tangled up with the violence, the politics, and the pain of the community he came from. He never truly left the gully, even when he was standing on international stages and shooting videos with Drake. The gully followed him in the form of bullets, warrants, and his son's imprisonment.